draft season is here. I'm so excited that I get to bring you guys a ton of draft content the rest of this week, and we're getting it started off with a banger, ranking every single first round pick of the 2023 MLB Draft from 30th all the way down to the number one guy. If you guys are excited for the draft content, please do leave a like. It really does help support the channel, as there's a lot of time and effort that gets put into these ranking videos that are going to be coming out quite often. Subscribe if you're excited for more draft content so you don't miss out on it. And without further ado, let's get going into these rankings. Getting today's video started at the number 30 spot, I have first round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Kendall George. Kendall George is fast. He is super fast. The normal grade scale goes 20 to 80, but Kendall George had a 90 grade run tool. That is just like unbelievably fast. That speed should allow him to be an elite defender and base stealer whenever he does get to maybe the major league level or even at the minor league level. He's just fast. He profiles more like Juan Pierre and Billy Hamilton type players just because there's not a lot of pop in that bat and the hit tool is still a little bit iffy, but there's lots of room to grow and develop into a complete player. Coming in at number 29, I've got the Cleveland Guardians first round pick, Ralphie Velasquez, catcher out of Huntington Beach High School in California. Velasquez is a big boy and he hits the ball like a big boy. 6'3", 215 pounds with a very nice left-handed swing, has the ability to barrel up the baseball and good exit velocity that makes you think he could be an impact bat in the middle of the order someday. While he probably won't stick a catcher and move to first base, he's a little more athletic than you think, but you get excited about Ralphie because he absolutely mashes. Next up at number 28, I've got Mariners first round pick Colt Emerson, shortstop out of John Glenn High School in Ohio. The Mariners have really been loving in the Ohio-Pennsylvania area recently, and Colt Emerson looks to be a solid pick. While Emerson may not have the power right now, he's only 17 years old, won't turn 18 until a little bit after the draft. He's got good bat-to-ball skills, the ability to drive the ball gap to gap, which is really cool, and when he does pull the ball, he hits it hard, so it makes you think that he can grow into his body, get a little bit stronger, and get some of that power needed to be that kind of next-level player, but Emerson can definitely hit. For the 27th best player in the first round, I'm going with Padres first round pick Dylan Head, outfielder out of Homewood, Flossmoor in Illinois. Dylan Head is another freak athlete. This guy has an 80 grade run tool, super fast. And while his power and hit tool don't really grade that high, I see a nice little quick left-handed swing with Dylan Head that could turn into something someday. And we know the Padres are great with fast, twitchy athletes, and that's exactly what Dylan Head is. At the absolute worst, it looks like a guy who's going to fly around center field, be a great defensive center fielder with the ability to become more at the plate. Just outside the top 25 at number 26, I have George Lombard Jr. of the New York Yankees. Lombard has the frame that gets you really excited. 6'3", 190, an extremely strong kid at the plate. His dad is also weirdly the bench coach for the Tigers. While none of his tools grade extremely high, he does hit the ball very hard. He has a strong arm, good instincts, but the power profile is really exciting with George Lombard, which makes sense. It's the Yankees. They love home runs. Getting the top 25 started at number 25, I have Astros first round pick, Bryce Matthews out of the University of Nebraska, shortstop. Bryce Matthews is a sick athlete. The dude was an amazing high school quarterback where he threw like 54 touchdowns in the state of Texas. He was all state, like that's pretty impressive. He's super fast on the base paths, and he gives you 20 to 25 home run potential, especially because he's a dead pull hitter, and we know they have the Crawford boxes out in Houston, something to keep an eye on. Overall, good athlete with good strength, lots of ability. For the 24th best player in the first round, I'm going with Los Angeles Angels first round pick Nolan Schanuel out of Florida Atlantic, first baseman. Schanuel is like an interesting player. He has some really cool stats. Listen to this. Last year with Florida Atlantic, Schanuel hit 19 homers, 18 doubles, 64 RBIs, even stole 14 bases. Sneaky for a guy who's kind of considered to not be a great athlete. He hit 447 with a 615 on base, 868 slugging, 1483 OPS. He walked 71 times and only struck out 14. To me, that's an extremely high floor player just because the plate discipline is already pretty disgusting. I think the power is a bit of a question mark how it will play at the next level. He's a big, strong guy. I'm sure he'll figure it out. Could be the future first baseman of the Angels. Next up at number 23, I've got San Francisco Giants first round pick Bryce Eldridge, two-way player out of James Madison High School in Virginia. Ooh, I love Bryce Eldridge. He's 6'7", 223, and he is a legit two-way player. His fastball sits in the mid to upper 90s with a really good slider and a solid changeup, and of course he's 6'7", 223 pounds, so he hits bombs as well with that sweet left-handed swing. He will be a little bit more of a project than some of the other players in today's video, but I love what the ceiling of a guy like Bryce Eldridge could be. The second year in a row, the Giants have taken a two-way player as well, joining Reggie Crawford. They're trying to find the next Ohtani. Coming in at number 22, Baltimore Orioles first round pick Enrique Bradfield Jr., outfielder out of Vanderbilt. I love Enrique Bradfield Jr., like just old school baseball, not trying to hit power, speed, contact, getting on base, stealing bases, great defense in center field. That's exactly what you get. The comparison everyone's given him is Kenny Lofton, which, man, that would be some career for Enrique Bradfield Jr. You'd be pumped if you're the Orioles. The speed and defense is just a game changer. That's what makes him great, as well as he does make elite contact. There's not a lot of power, but he has some sneaky pop that maybe could develop, and he has decent size at 6'1". So Enrique Bradfield Jr., one of the most fun players in college. Great pick by the Orioles. Just missing on the top 20, coming in at number 21, I've got Brewers first round pick Brock Wilken, third baseman out of Wake Forest. I actually really wanted to find a way to put Brock Wilken higher on this list, but this draft class is absolutely loaded because Wilken is sick. Last year at Wake Forest, 31 homers, 15 doubles, 82 RBIs, hitting .345 with a .506 on base, .807 slugging, .1313 OPS. He walked more than he struck out. The pop is legit good. There's questions whether or not he'll stay at third base, might become a first baseman. But man, Brock Wilken can mash. I love his swing. Now, getting the top 20 started at the number 20 spot, Atlanta Braves first round pick, Hurston Waldrop, right-handed pitcher out of University of Florida. Yeah, I mean, like, I wanted to find a way to put Hurston Waldrop higher on this list too. I think he is debatably one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers in the entire draft in terms of stuff. It's just the command is a bit of an issue right now for Waldrop, but that's what you develop. That's what you can fix, and the Braves have been known to do that. Waldrop might have one of the best pitches in the entire draft class with that absolutely devastating splitter that he throws, a really good fastball that sits in the mid-90s with a couple other good pitches, with a solid slider as well. There's a lot of good things to like about Hurston Waldrop. Again, going to be a little bit of a project, but this feels like an easier project than most. Next up at number 19, I've got Chicago Cubs first round pick Matt Shaw, shortstop out of University of Maryland. Matt Shaw's a really good player. Again, don't let 19 make you think it's not good. These are all first round picks. They're all talented, and Matt Shaw's part of it. Matt Shaw is just all around a really solid player. Rarely strikes out, draws a lot of walks, makes a lot of hard contact consistently, and he can drive the ball to all fields. He has a lot of shockingly opposite field power. He won Cape Cod League MVP, which is what kind of got that stock rising originally. He's a shortstop right now, probably will move to second base, although I've been watching highlights of him and he looks really good at the position. I don't want to comp him to Matt McClain, but I'm going to. Coming in at the number 18 spot, I've got Royals first round pick Blake Mitchell, catcher out of Sinton High School in Texas. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Blake Mitchell. Like, I really, really love his swing. He swings the bat hard. He's a strong kid, and he has a cannon of an arm behind the plate. But again, there's just guys that I think are better. That's not a knock on Blake Mitchell at all. You do get a little bit nervous with high school catchers sometimes, but the way that the Royals have been able to develop catching prospects in general, along with power bats, is super interesting. And also, just a fun fact, if he was pitching, he'd probably be like a first 2-round pitcher because he throws 97. Like we said, that arm behind the plate is disgusting. At number 17, I'm going with Tampa Bay Rays first round pick Braden Taylor, shortstop out of TCU, although I think he probably is going to end up being a third baseman. Taylor has just been a really good player at TCU pretty much for the entirety of his career. He's gotten better and better and better every single year. He was a Cape Cod League All-Star in 2021. Very smooth, quick left-handed swing. He can take the ball to all fields. He showed a lot more power this year, which is really exciting. And he's a guy who's just gotten better and better every year, which is something I feel like as an organization you see and you get excited about. For the 16th best player taken in the first round, St. Louis Cardinals first round pick Chase Davis, outfielder out of University of Arizona. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the clips. Chase Davis hits some monster tanks and his swing looks exactly like Carlos Gonzalez. Chase Davis has a real potential to absolutely boom in this draft. And if it weren't for the pandemic shortened season, you might have seen him taken even earlier in a previous draft. 6'1", 216, runs pretty well, has a great arm in the outfield. He's overall just a really good player, and I think there's like some real star potential here. Great pick by the Cardinals. Awesome pick. Next up at number 15, I've got New York Mets first round pick Colin Houck, shortstop out of Parkview High School in Georgia. Houck was ranked inside the top 15 by MLB Pipeline, and the Mets got him at number 32, which is just fantastic. Houck is a really strong kid, 6'2", 190 pounds. He was also a 3-star quarterback recruit, so he's been juggling being a very good quarterback in the state of Georgia while also playing baseball. Imagine what he can do when he just focuses on the game. This is a guy that projects to stay at shortstop, give you 20 to 25 home runs a season. Really strong, good athlete, drives the ball to all fields. A lot of good things here with Colin Houck. I'm super pumped the Mets got this kid. Coming in at number 14, White Sox first round pick Jacob Gonzalez, shortstop out of Ole Miss. Gonzalez has been around the draft world forever. People have been excited about this kid for a long time. Solid shortstop, probably moves to third base maybe, but that left-handed swing with the home run potential that he has is extremely exciting. I mean, you're looking at a guy who could hit 25 to 30 home runs a season at the major league level, something that I think the White Sox would be super excited about. While he does kind of get a little bit weird with his swing at times, we have seen some inconsistencies. The fact of the matter is the top level potential that Jacob Gonzalez has is super exciting and something that you want to take a quote-unquote risk on. Next up, coming in at number 13, Blue Jays first round pick Arjun Namala, shortstop out of Strawberry Crest High School in Florida. Namala, another one of these guys who is 17 years old, which is huge. It's just like an extra year of development almost. And wow, is this kid impressive? 6'1", 170. He crushes baseballs with that right-handed swing. His BP is fun to watch. He's been working out with Francisco Lindor in the offseason. People love his makeup. There are concerns about the consistency of his play. His pitch selection is a little inconsistent. He does swing and miss a little bit, but that raw power is legit. He is a very solid shortstop. You're taking this guy on ceiling potential. He could have some of the highest in the entire draft. For the 12th best player in the 2023 MLB Draft first round, I have Phillies pick Aiden Miller, shortstop, more so third baseman out of J.W. Mitchell High School in Florida. So Aiden Mitchell fell in the draft because he had a hand injury and you just didn't really get to see him play much this spring. But when you see this guy swing and play the field and do all that, you're like, oh, this guy's really good. I mean, he crushes baseballs, crushes them. I don't think he's going to stay at short. I think he moves to third because athletically, he's just fine. But to me, that bat is what you get excited about. That's what's going to play. He just hits the ball really, really hard. So yeah, while there was concerns because he's a 19-year-old who didn't play this spring that much, what we have been able to see from Aiden Miller has been super impressive. This was a really, really good value pick by the Phillies. Just outside the top 10, coming in at number 11, I have Kyle Teal, first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox, catcher out of University of Virginia. I know I might not be as high as others on Kyle Teal, but I mean, you're calling him a top 10 player in the draft. Kyle Teal has been a beast at the University of Virginia, had a monster season this past year. Teal hit 407 with a 475 on base, 1130 OPS, 13 homers, 25 doubles, 69 RBIs. He's a really good athlete too, so if he doesn't stick at catcher, you can move him around. He's played different positions. Really nice left-handed swing. Of course, this guy fell to the Red Sox right into their lap because that's what happens every year. Which leads us now to the top 10. Coming in at number 10, Noble Meyer, first-round pick of the Miami Marlins. Meyer is the top arm out of high school in the entire draft, and for good reason. Meyer has a fastball that sits in the mid to upper 90s with a really solid slider, a pretty good changeup, good control. He's 6'5", 165. I mean, he's a string bean, but the dude just absolutely throws BBs. He has all the ability to be a frontline starter in the future, and to me is the best high school arm in the draft. Next up at number 9, I have Tommy Troy, first-round pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who's a shortstop out of Stanford. Tommy Troy, all around, really good player. Like, I feel like the floor is super high on a guy like Tommy Troy. What I love, though, is his bat is quick, and he's got a lot of pop, despite being only 5'10". Really, also kind of made a name for himself in the Cape Cod League, where he was mashing. And again, another guy who probably sticks as shortstop, if not second base, third base, whatever it is. He's just a really, really good hitter. I feel like the ball jumps off his bat. For the 8th best player of the first round, I'm going to go with Rhett Lauder, pitcher out of Wake Forest, first-round pick by the Cincinnati Reds. Rhett Lauder has been one of the best pitchers in college baseball the last 2 seasons, and arguably was one of the best this year, if not the best if it wasn't for Paul Skeens. Lauder was 15-0 on the season with a 1.87 ERA and 120 innings pitched with a whip under 1. He was rocking a K rate over 30%, barely walked anybody. We're talking like a 5% walk rate, and he has the ability to get into the mid-upper 90s, mostly sits in the lower mid-90s. Just overall, very solid pitcher. 3 good pitches with a fastball, slider, changeup, good control, all stuff that I think the Reds will love because they can get more velo out of anybody. At number 7, I'm going to go with Chase Dolander, first-round pick by the Colorado Rockies, right-handed pitcher out of University of Tennessee. I just really like Dolander a lot. I saw him in 2022 with Tennessee, and I was like, oh, this is the best pitcher in college baseball. A little bit of a rocky season this year, but still, the stuff is there that makes me believe. The only issue is being with the Rockies, kind of like a death sentence, and I feel bad. I wish the best, but it's just a really hard place to pitch, and they don't really develop pitching ever. But he might be one of their best chances in a while. 70-grade fastball that can touch the 99, 100-mile-an-hour mark. A wicked good slider. I mean, it's filthy with a solid changeup and a good curveball. 4 pitches, good control. It was a down year in Tennessee. It was weird. I'm sure he felt like he had to prove himself a little bit. But overall, he is still my number 2 pitcher in the entire draft. Just missing on the top 5. Coming in at number 6, I've got Oakland A's first-round pick Jacob Wilson, shortstop out of Grand Canyon. I knew this guy was going to go at 6. I knew it. He's too good not to. Here's the fun fact I like to tell everybody about Jacob Wilson. 1, son of Jack Wilson, former shortstop for the Pirates. 2, in the last 2 seasons of college baseball, he struck out a total of 12 times. This past year, he struck out 5 times, walking 19, 6 homers, 17 doubles, 61 RBIs, and 8 stolen bases, hitting .412 with a .461 on base, .635 slugging, and a 1096 OPS. I know there's not a lot of power there with those numbers just yet, but he has a big frame, 6'3", 190. Put on a little muscle, learn how to drive the ball a little bit more in the air. Jacob Wilson could be a star at shortstop. I just really think he's one of the best players in this entire draft, one of my favorite players as well. Getting the top 5 started at number 5, Minnesota Twins first-round pick Walker Jenkins, outfielder out of high school in North Carolina. Walker Jenkins, massive human, 6'3", 210, and he's only in high school. Twins got a big boy here with some huge power potential. We're looking at a guy who, if he hits his true potential, I could see hitting 30, 40 home runs a season. He's that big, he's that strong. I love his left-handed swing. It is so good. Really uses his entire body. I don't think he's going to be a center fielder. I think he goes to the corners, which is why I have him at 5 below maybe another high schooler coming up here, but he does everything well. He's a sick athlete too. Walker Jenkins is just so good. Next up at the number 4 spot, I have the other high schooler I was talking about, Max Clark, first round pick by the Detroit Tigers out of Franklin Community High School in Indiana. Max Clark has some sick grades. 60 hit, 50 power, 70 run, 65 arm, 60 field. He's going to stick in center field. He's also going to hit. He's going to run. He's going to hit for some power too. He's a really, really strong kid. I mean, if you can look at his legs, they're so big. He's a social media star, and for good reason. He's done a great job just promoting himself and how good of a player he is. For someone out of the state of Indiana to get drafted as high as he is with that much hype, he must be that good. There's nothing not to like about Max Clark. Super talented kid, incredible athlete, big star potential here. Coming in at the number 3 spot would be the number 1 in most other drafts, Wyatt Langford, outfielder out of University of Florida, first round pick by the Texas Rangers. The fact that Langford fell to the Rangers, they're super excited. I mean, they were in the driver's seat. There was nobody inside this top 5 that would have been a bad pick. Langford was great, though, this past year with the Florida Gators. Langford hit 21 homers with 28 doubles, 57 RBIs, hitting .373 with a .498 on base, .784 slugging, and a .1282 OPS in the SEC, where he walked more than he struck out. Talk about grades, 60 hits, 65 power. I mean, he's just one of the better hitters, if not the best hitter in the entire draft class. He's a 5-tool potential player. This is an awesome pick by the Rangers. He's going to have like a 400 on-base percentage. Just missing out on number 1. Coming in at number 2, I have the number 1 overall pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens, right-handed pitcher out of LSU. Yeah, I mean, it could be 1A, 1B, honestly, with Skeens and the guy who's going to be ahead of him, Dylan Cruz. Skeens is sick. Skeens is disgusting. He's the most MLB-ready player we've seen in quite some time, and I feel like if the Pirates take him at number 1, they have plans to move him up to the majors extremely quickly. He's got an 80-grade fastball. I mean, he throws 100 like all the time, hit 102, a 70-grade slider. It's filthy. It's disgusting. The fastball slider combo is reminiscent of Jacob deGrom. I'm going to say it. And I don't really care about the other pitches. Those two alone are just nasty to be a front end starter. He's 6'6", 235. This guy was at Air Force and then transferred to LSU. He was relatively unknown. And then he had a big year at Air Force, a huge year at LSU, and he's the number 1 overall pick. I got nothing bad to say about him. He's disgustingly good. And then, of course, coming in at number 1 or 1A, whatever you want to call it, for me, Dylan Cruz, first round pick by the Washington Nationals, also outfielder out of LSU. Dylan Cruz is a 5-tool player. He's going to play center field. He's going to play it great with possible Gold Glove defense out there. He can run for days with a 60 run grade. His hit tool, 70 hit grade, is phenomenal with a 60 power grade. That's stuff you love to see when you're drafting guys. It's pretty crazy to think the outfield talent that has come through the Washington Nationals organization. Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, you have James Wood there. You now have Dylan Cruz. And listen to the numbers he put up in the SEC this year with LSU. 18 homers, 16 doubles, 70 RBIs, hitting .426 with a .567 on base, .713 slugging, .1280 OPS. Dylan Cruz is a star. Dylan Cruz is a stud. If the Pirates were going to pay him what he was asking, he would have been the number 1 overall pick. He's got the ability to be just one of the best outfielders in the game at some point in his career, just with the sheer tools that he has. So there it is, ranking every first round pick of the 2023 MLB Draft. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Who did I maybe underrate or even overrate? Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe as well so you don't miss out on all the bangers coming at you. Don't forget to follow me on my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in description. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know how much I appreciate it. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another banger. Bye!